Hello everybody, what is up? It's Eddie Neddy and welcome to another video for you guys here today, and we're going to be we're going to be ranking the best Premier League transfers for you guys. Well, not necessarily the best, the most expensive. So I really am excited to this one. If any of you guys are new around here, by the way, please drop a like, subscribe, muchly appreciated, and let me know if you disagree or agree with my thought process on each of these players. I'm going to do like a detailed explanation on them both and kind of talk about maybe where they are now or how they are doing now. And, you know, some of them might be a little bit unfair to rank because of players like Anthony, Nunes, players you can see right there, Sancho, well, maybe not Sancho, but Darwin and Anthony especially have only joined fairly recently, so I'm gonna kind of wing them, if that makes any sense. But anyway, we got the first one, Romelu Lukaku. It's got to be an F. I'm sorry, I've got to give an F for that signing. He did score a few goals for Chelsea. I remember he scored versus Arsenal, I believe, on his debut. You know, I think it was like a 3-0 win at the Emirates. Which was a big win there for Chelsea. But for the money that they spent and all the issues that went around Romelu Lukaku, you know, he really has tainted his respect, I think, for Chelsea, and even respect, I think, as a Premier League player, you know, and as a person maybe, because he just seemed to be like, when things get tough, he seems to want to leave. I don't think he's particularly the player that he once was. You know, obviously he's done very well at Inter Milan. You know, not his second stint at Inter Milan. He hasn't really done necessarily that well, but obviously his first stint at Inter Milan, he was brilliant. So there we go, Lukaku, F. I think it's kind of self-explanatory. Okay, we go with grealish. This is a bit of a tough one to go with as well, because grealish, obviously 100 million. You've got to take the money and the performance into account. And I really like grealish. I think he's a great player. You know, despite I am a Birmingham fan. I know grealish obviously doesn't like Birmingham whatsoever, but I can admit he is a good player. And even when he was at Villa, I admitted he was a very good player. He hasn't necessarily really broken into the first team yet, Grealish, but when he does play, he does alright. Goal and assists, pretty meh. You know, obviously playing for England at the moment, and I think he looks really lively whenever he comes on. So, I'm not going to give him an F. I'm not going to give him an E. I'm going to give him a D. I think it's still a little bit too early to rank Grealish's transfer, because I think it's going to be a longer term investment, but yeah. Okay, Anthony. Right, Anthony. First few games of the Premier League, honestly, he's already got more goals than I thought he would throughout the entire campaign. So I think Anthony's obviously done brilliant so far to adapt to the Premier League life. I think his rough transfer was about 80 million or something like that. I think 80 maybe pushing on to 90 million. Obviously a lot of money for the Ajax right winger. It did feel like a bit of a panic buy though from the Glazers. Because like it just seemed like when the pressure, you know, got onto them, they brought up Anthony and Casemiro like that. So I definitely think they tried to get Anthony into the club as quickly as possible by spending a large amount on him. But I think it's a really good deal. I really rate Anthony. However, I think it's a little bit too early to judge. So I'm just going to put him mid-table-ish, you know, in that C, you know, area. A little bit hard to say. Right, Kepa. Difficult one to rank Kepa, because I personally really like Kepa, despite he's made a lot of mistakes, and we remember that Carabao Cup final under Sarri. You know, he's not necessarily... Okay, the thing about Kepa, he's an alright goalkeeper, but he's not worth the amount of money that Chelsea paid for him. Like, he's the record goalkeeper. No, nowhere near that. So, I'm not going to put him F, I'm going to put him E, because he has came into Chelsea and, you know, hasn't done necessarily bad when called upon. Next one is Harry Maguire. It's a tough one, you know. It's a tough one because Harry Maguire obviously gets a lot of hate from United fans. He's really good for England, I personally think. And I think there is a good defender in there because you see how well he does for England. But I honestly don't think Harry Maguire is much of a problem. And, you know, I think the Man United attitude is the problem. You know, because let's face it, every player that's gone there has not really done that great. No disrespect to Man United, I think you guys are a great club and great fan base as well. But I just don't think Harry Maguire has massively hit the heights that, you know, obviously the 80 million that, you know, obviously you guys spent for. But I don't think he's necessarily been awful, but he's obviously nowhere near worth the 80 million. So I'm going to put him in the, I'm going to put him in the D section because he has been called upon when need to be. The price might drag it down a little bit similar to Grealish in a way, you know, in terms of the prices. But yeah, Harry Maguire D. Next one is Pogba. Pogba's a bit of an interesting one to rank because he 100 million pretty much, you know, I believe United spent on him. And he done okay. He done, I don't know. It's an interesting one, Pogba, because obviously he won a bit at United. Obviously, you know, Carabao Cup. I believe they won the FA Cup, the Europa League. You know, had really good games. Paul Pogba had some absolutely fantastic games, fantastic performances by himself. Many memories with Manchester United in the first team. Obviously, tainted it a little bit towards the end of his career. I'm going to put him just ahead of Anthony, but I feel like Anthony will get ahead of him in the future. But just at the moment, Pogba going to see the trophies he won, and I think he had some really good performances, and he probably was one of the best midfielders for Man United in the past, like, let's say, 4 years. Okay, next one is Alisson. I'm giving it an A. Like, in my opinion, the world's best goalkeeper. He is a fantastic goalkeeper, Alisson. The Brazilian, he's so good. I highly rate him. I'm excited to see, obviously, how he does for Brazil in the World Cup. If they can manage to win and him get a World Cup to his name, that would be amazing. But I think he's a great goalkeeper. I think they signed him for roughly about late on 60 million. So, yeah, I think it's a great deal for one of the world's best goalkeepers. I've joined from Roma, won the Premier League, won the Champions League. I believe he won the Golden Glove as well. Fantastic goalkeeper. Actually, did he win the Golden Glove? I think he did, but I'm not too sure. Darwin Núñez, a little bit similar to Anthony, a little bit early to tell, but I think he's had a bit more game time than Anthony necessarily. I think it's a great transfer, really good young player, so I'm going to put him just ahead of I'm going to put him ahead of Pogba as well, because honestly, I think Núñez has massive potential to become one of the best strikers for Liverpool. Like, you know, like a bit of like Suarez was. I think Núñez could hit them heights. Obviously, first season here, I don't think he'll hit them heights yet, even though he's done all right. But I think second season, he will come in so clutch. Right, next one is going to be Riyad Mahrez, 60 million. I'm going to put him in the A. I think Riyad Mahrez has been an absolutely fantastic transfer. A really good transfer, you know, for Manchester City. He's been absolutely key to their Premier League and obviously Champions League final. He's put in some absolutely crucial goals for Manchester City, so I'm going to put him in the A. Next one is Van Dijk. I think Van Dijk goes in the A as well. One of the best Premier League defenders, you know, in the Premier League, if not the best, along with Ruben Diaz. Great, obviously, Champions League, won the Premier League, came from Southampton. I believe joined them for about 70-odd million. One didn't join Celtic for Southampton. You know, 70-odd million. He joined Southampton to Liverpool for 70-odd million. I think it's a great transfer, what happened there, and I think he is one of the best defenders in the last 5 years in the Premier League. Definitely up there. Next one is Kai Havertz. This is a tough one, you know, because he hasn't been as prolific, but he has scored crucial goals. I'm going to put him in the B. If it wasn't for the Champions League final goal, honestly, I think he'd go in the D category, but I think just for that Champions League final goal, you've got to put him in B, ain't you? You know, he has come in clutch when he needed to be, so yeah. Sancho, I feel bad for rating Sancho. He started to come into form a little bit more, so I'm going to put him in the C section. You know, obviously 72 million, hasn't done necessarily the best, awful first season. Second season, I think he's already matched, you know, what he did in the first season. And Nicolas Pepe, I'm not going to give it an F, I'm going to give it an A. He did show glimpses of quality. He joined them for about 72 million from Lille. He did show glimpses of quality, then kind of got pushed out the team a little bit by young, obviously, Saka, you know, and new players coming in like Martinelli as well. So I think Pepe was a little bit of a sinking ship at Arsenal. I think he's done a really good move to OGC Nice, and I think he's doing really well in the league, if I'm right. But yeah, Pepe, great signing. You know, well, not a great signing. I don't know, because it seemed like a great signing on paper, but it just didn't work out that well. You know, which I'm upset for him, because I think he's a great player, but he just didn't really hit them heights. I reckon if he went to like a Liverpool, he would have absolutely aced it. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys have, make sure to drop a like, subscribe. Thank you all for watching. Take care, people. Speak to you soon. See you later.